Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 11.
The Pentagon has confirmed that General Qasem Soleimani, the head of Iran's elite Quds force, has been killed in an airstrike at Baghdad's International Airport. Good evening and thanks for joining us for NBC 16 News at 11. Filling in, I am Alexis Thrower. Soleimani was an iconic military commander of Iran's military forces in the Iraq, Syria, Lebanon area and throughout the Middle East. In the past, the U.S. also credited his militias with combating ISIS in Iraq. Soleimani's Quds force is a division of Iraq's Revolutionary Guard, widely believed to support a wide number of Iranian-backed terror groups such as Hezbollah. His death would dramatically increase tensions after the Iranian-backed New Year's rioting at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Developing tonight, we expect to learn more in the next few days about a deadly officer-involved shooting in Hillsborough. Police say 69-year-old Stanley Hayes was firing at homes and cars. This was around 1 a.m. this morning at a condo off Northeast Edgeway Drive near Northwest Summer Falls Street. Officers say Hayes fired shots from a handgun and a rifle into the neighborhood. One neighbor says he and his family ran for cover after hearing the first gunshot from across the street.
We heard the first shot go off, so we ran downstairs and got as far away from the front walls as possible, and then the shots kept going off.
Police say they were outside the home for about a half hour and didn't open fire until Hayes walked out carrying the guns. Authorities continue to investigate. Portland City Commissioner Nick Fish has died. Fish had been battling abdominal cancer for the last couple of years. He just announced that he would be stepping down from his post earlier this week. His office says he died peacefully at home today, surrounded by his loved ones. His office also says the family wants to convey publicly their thanks for all the words of love and encouragement sent to Nick since his resignation. He called his 11 years of service on the Portland City Council the great honor of my life. On to a first look at weather. NBC 16's meteorologist not Travis. You're back, Josh.
I am back.
Let me say, I'm glad to have you back.
Well, I wish I could say the same. I still wish I was on vacation, but no, I only kid. I'm glad to be back too. And really, we've had some welcoming weather move back into our area, and today's temperatures were on the mild side, in towards the low 50s to the mid 50s, and especially as you take a trip further out towards the coast. We did see a few rain showers yesterday, not so much the case today, and our temperatures now falling back in towards the mid 40s with overcast skies overhead. Radar and satellite, though, showing clouds still pushing their way further off towards the east. Our rain chances still remain to the north, but they become widespread as we move through the next several days, and winter weather is already taking aim at the higher elevations of the Cascades with the winter storm watch that goes into effect tomorrow evening and lasts through the morning hours on our Saturday. But for tonight, we will remain dry, overcast skies and temperatures into the low 40s. However, your detailed forecast on how much rain we should see in the valleys and the coast in just a few minutes.
Well, I am sorry that you're not still on vacation, so I should probably say again, welcome. The rest of the state is now playing catch up with Eugene's Springfield area with plastic bags now banned. But how is this affecting business? As NBC 16's Stephanie Rothman shows us, locals have mixed feelings about the change.
Get ready to drop everything and get used to a whole lot more of these reusable totes.
I don't mind. It's just a nickel.
You can get bags like this wherever. They're not expensive.
Oregon is ringing in the new year with a new law banning plastic bags, making them the fourth state to do so. This has been the status quo in Eugene for years, but for everyone else now, you must use paper, reusable plastic, or reusable fabric.
Before this 2020 bag ban, we would offer our bag and they would ask if it was for a fee, and we would say, nope, it's complimentary today, and they loved that. So now it feels like we're taking something away from our customers.
But there are exemptions. You can still use plastic for produce, garbage, and specialty bags. Over in Springfield, the fee is new, but some customers don't seem to mind.
People are really understanding, and especially at Friendly, like it has been something that has been implemented for a few years now, and people bring their own bags and are prepared for that.
A regular who lives above the market tells us it's not the fee that bothers her.
We're picking and choosing which parts of the environmental battle to approach, and that's leaving a lot of areas that are more impactful than plastic bags untouched.
Only time will tell what kind of impact the ban makes. Reporting in Lane County, I'm Stephanie Rothman.
The new year is here, and it might be a good time to look at your car insurance policy. A State Farm branch in Eugene says January is a very busy time of year for them with the number of new cars people receive for Christmas. But a new car or not, the insurance agency is making sure people have what they need in order to stay covered during accidents. They also say make sure you understand your insurance policy, deductibles, and the coverage.
The other option that you could look at is your deductible on your policy. A lot of times having a higher deductible can help keep your rates lower if you're comfortable paying that deductible. So having a conversation with your insurance agent can help you find a policy that best fits your needs and fit your budget.
Visit our website at NBC16.com to find out what important information and about coverage you need to know for the state of Oregon. Decisions lie ahead in the new year for Eugene City Councilors on a new City Hall project downtown, including how much money the final plan is going to cost. This is the plan to use the Butterfly parking lot to build a new City Hall and an indoor farmers market. The park blocks in the 8th and Oak area will also be updated. City councilors met on the plan last month, where officials admitted a new City Hall could be $30 million or more. The city has just $12 million saved in a City Hall replacement fund.
That's a big gap to make up.
It's a very big gap to make up. One thing we could look at is using the Comcast settlement money, which we received. I think we should absolutely have a conversation about the maximum we're willing to spend, but not cast it in concrete.
Councilors Chris Pryor says other money could come from grants, short-term loans, and other sources. The City Council directed staff in December to come back with other funding options for a future meeting. It's official. Manifest Beer Company's second location is now open in the heart of downtown Eugene in the space that used to be occupied by Starbucks. Co-owner Brandon Woodruff says the company has big plans to create a welcoming atmosphere while helping to clean up downtown. Woodruff says he was born and raised in the area, bringing a new local and independent business feel to the West Broadway and Willamette Street corner. He says treating everyone with respect is a value his business wants to uphold.
We got people that are on our teams, myself included, that have not had homes before, who have lived on the streets and hotels and you name it. So we're trying to push forward people and becoming the best person they can possibly be.
He says if issues arise with customers, houseless people in the area, or really anyone, he believes a simple conversation would be an easy solution, though he says he has no issue calling the police if the problem can't be solved cordially.
Having a relationship with everybody, no matter who it is, where their walk is, like say hi to them, find out what's going on,
Woodruff says he hopes to make sure issues are resolved. Manifest Beer Company is now in its soft opening period. The grand opening will be towards the end of this month. Woodruff says they will open before the KLCC Brew Fest and even be in it. Oregon Coast Community Action is putting out the call for volunteers to help count the number of homeless people in Coos County. The point-in-time count will be done digitally this year with volunteer phone app surveys. Organizers say it's vital to assessing need and leveraging resources, especially for groups like the older population on a fixed income in a competitive rental market.
Our area ranked very high throughout the state of Oregon for unaccompanied youth, and sometimes that has a relationship with folks transitioning out of the foster care system.
The data is used to get money for resources that help those in need. The count will be held the last weekend of January. You'll find more information at orcca.us. Coming up next on NBC 16, the White House announces a new vaping ban. We find out how it affects businesses and consumers in our area. Plus, the FDA has issued new guidelines when it comes to nutrition labels, what you need to know as the consumer.
Tomorrow on NBC 16 Today.
Not only is it the first
News at 11.
The White House is announcing new regulations to stop teens from using vaping products. As our Perry Elia Durrani reports, it's a compromise between doing nothing and the sweeping bans that the federal government and the state proposed months ago.
After months of anticipation, the White House announced new regulations on e-cigarettes Thursday. Essentially, the FDA is banning pre-filled liquids like Juul pods unless they're menthol or tobacco flavored.
I think it's probably the best move that I've seen. Any of our government agencies, kind of a middle ground.
A middle ground because the new ban does not affect flavored liquid sold over the counter for refillable tank-based e-cigs like this one. This is a step down from the sweeping ban the Trump administration hinted at months ago and means specialty shops like Emerald Vapors in Eugene likely won't see much of a change. Rao says they stopped selling flavored pre-filled cartridges or pods a while ago since they seem to be more popular with younger users not trying to quit smoking.
It seems like among the pod users that whether they're young or not, they tend to be new adopters of nicotine products. And that's just not a market that I want to serve.
Still, Rao says this FDA ban puts a bad stigma on e-cig flavors in general, which are a large part of his business.
Flavors are an integral part of helping adults quit smoking. They were for my journey and all my customers.
While Rao may have liked to see fewer things covered under the ban, anti-smoking organizations say they wanted it to cover a lot more. In a statement, the American Lung Association's president says that by allowing menthol pods and flavors at vape shops, kids will still get addicted to nicotine. The association is calling on lawmakers to ban all flavored tobacco products, including e-cigarettes. Reporting in Eugene, I'm Perry Elliott Durrani.
Now that we're in the new year, if you're looking to lose weight, NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the top-ranked diets to help you keep that resolution.
The season of joy and excess is over. Time now for that other beloved annual tradition, shopping for the right diet. The guy next door lost 20 on keto. The work colleague swears by South Beach. But which one is actually good for you? U.S. News & World Report ranked 35 of the most popular diets, looking at weight loss and health, consulting experts and medical journals. Topping the list of the best overall was the Mediterranean diet. Fruits, vegetables, olive oil, no gimmicks, and even the occasional bowl of spaghetti. Tying at number 2 with the flexitarian diet, the DASH, developed to fight high blood pressure, praised for its nutritional completeness, according to the article. Way down the list, keto, high fat, low carbs, no sugar. Think bacon, eggs, and steaks. Weight comes off, but it's not great for the heart.
It is possible to go on diets that make you less healthy. And so you have to be careful and make sure, number one, if you have diabetes or any other health conditions, talk to your doctor first before going on that diet.
Is there one key thing to help make a diet stick?
The main thing to help make a diet stick is something that you will be able to do day after day, week after week, and month after month.
In other words, that occasional bowl of spaghetti may just be the key to success. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
New guidelines for nutrition labels went into effect on January 1st. The FDA now requires labels on packaged foods to include up-to-date scientific information, including info about the link between chronic diseases and diet. The rule change applies to manufacturers who sell more than $10 million a year in food products. Those who sell less than that don't have to comply until the first of next year. Makes of some single-ingredient sugar products like honey and maple syrup will have more time to comply. The FDA says the change will help consumers make healthier food choices. The rate of emergency room and admissions and hospitalizations for mental health issues and suicide has gone down in Coos County. Much of that is attributed to a mobile response team. The crisis program is run by Coos Health and Wellness. Coos County Medical Examiner recorded 23 suicides since January 2019.
So we're getting calls from local law enforcement, maybe community partners, family members. From there, we make a decision about whether we need to respond to that individual in the community or not, or if we can, for example, intervene by phone. Typically, if law enforcement is calling our community partner, we're coming out.
For the past 3 years, local law enforcement officers have been trained and certified in crisis intervention. They also learn about mental health illness to help them de-escalate some situations.
de-escalation tactics is a lot of times it's really trying to build a rapport with that person. And the more knowledge base you have on whether it's mental health issues or whatever that crisis that person might be facing is how you start working that de-escalation.
He says the crisis intervention training skills are always on the mind of officers. They rely on the mobile response team on a weekly basis. Turning to weather now, NBC 16's meteorologist Josh Cozart is standing by for a look at what's coming up in your full forecast. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Alexis. Well, the rain chances, they're quickly moving back into our area. But not only are we going to be impacted by the rain, but also heavy snowfall over the mountain passes that could cause some treacherous travel conditions as we move through the weekend. I have all those details on the timeline of this next system in my full forecast after the break.
Get ready for a thoroughly captivating with meteorologist Josh Cozart.
Well, we had rainy conditions yesterday, dry today, and mostly dry tomorrow, but then those rain chances quickly return back to our forecast. But as we take a live look over the downtown Roseburg area on this Thursday evening, dry skies overhead, but still holding tight to the overcast skies. As you take a trip up towards the higher elevated mountain passes, the Willamette Pass on the chillier end of things, with snow still on the sides of the roads and roadways for the most part looking clear, but that doesn't mean that we could not see a slick spot or two really anywhere across the higher elevated spots. But radar and satellite shows that those clouds continue to push their way further off towards the east as our next storm system continues to sit over a good portion of the west coast. But a winter storm warning remains in effect through the higher Cascade mountain passes. That starts tonight and will really linger into tomorrow and into Saturday. But for tonight, we are going to stay dry. Temperatures falling back in towards the 30s and 40s. Patchy fog is not out of the question for many valley locations. But our next storm system taking aim at the Pacific Northwest, all in part to this low pressure system with the trailing cold front. But high pressure sits further to our south. With clockwise rotation, it's going to continue to funnel some drier air up into our area for a good portion of our Friday, but watch as we put this through time. High pressure slides its way further off towards the east, and then a cold front takes aim yet again at western Oregon, bringing the chance for some rain showers, snow in the higher elevations as a big plume of moisture really moves in behind this next system. Once storm number 1 moves through, storm number 2 starts to develop in the Gulf of Alaska with another cold front that will be impacting our temperatures and also increasing our rain chances through the rest of the weekend. Futurecast dissects this quite nicely for us. We'll continue to wake up on our Friday with overcast skies, but then even more cloud coverage moves through into the afternoon hours. It's not until about 7 p.m. once we all settle in for dinner that we start to see the rain chances return for the coastal spots. And as this cold front swings its way through our area, the I-5 corridor, the valleys will get in on those heavy rain showers, and some flurries are a possibility through the coastal mountain ranges because the snow level will be dropping to about 2,000 feet. That's where we can see the snow really getting going over the Cascades. And then for our Saturday, we'll have spotty rain showers here and there from the coast to the valleys, and then the Cascades will start to dry out, and then Sunday we do it all over again. But as far as our rainfall totals go, just about ½ an inch in the Eugene, Springfield area, greater amounts as you take a trip further off towards the coastal spots. But our snow level again dropping to about 2,000 feet, but I've got my eyes on the middle of next week as our snow level is expected to drop quite low. We could potentially see a flurry or two, a possibility through the valleys, but we'll be keeping a close track on that as it approaches. Daytime highs tomorrow near 60 degrees for many of us, with those rain showers returning in the late evening hours. But our extended forecast is going to show that those temperatures slide back into the mid-40s by the time we get into Saturday and Sunday, holding tight to the rain chances. Start to see a little bit of a drying trend for our Monday, just for those rain showers to return. Out towards the coast, rain for the next several days. Of course, it gets started into the late evening hours on our Friday for the coastal spots. Average temperature for this time of year, 51 degrees. And down towards the Umpqua Valley, the rain continues for the next several days. Temperatures sitting right around average as we make our way through the weekend. But boy, just look at these spectacular photos of the large waves along the coast. You too can send yours in by going to NBC16.com/chime in.
I saw that picture. That was kind of scared me if I was that close.
You want to keep your distance for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. And next in sports, it is the start of Pac-12 play in Oregon and Oregon State men's hoops. Could the Ducks pick up its first ever win in Colorado? Highlights coming up.
Showing off those new frames, huh?
Yeah, they're the hot new.
NBC16 Sports Desk is brought to you by Three Rivers Casino Resort.
Winning the Rose Bowl was no doubt a team goal for the Ducks, but for the 19 Oregon natives on the roster, playing for a team they rooted for their entire lives in a game they grew up watching was the ultimate dream come true. And as Brandon Cameraman tells us, for two Oregonians in particular, the result couldn't have been scripted any better.
In a lot of ways, if you just looked at the Rose Bowl game box score, you would think Wisconsin crushed Oregon. They dominated the Ducks in total yardage, dominated in time of possession, but Oregon got 4 somewhat unlikely touchdowns. 3 rushing touchdowns from Justin Herbert after only 1 rushing touchdown this whole season. And then the fumble on the punt, recovered by Brady Breeze, and ran in for a touchdown. So that's 4 touchdowns between Breeze and Herbert. And what's unique about that? Those two guys, Oregon-born, Oregon-bred.
I've been honored to be a part of this team and to represent Eugene and the university. It's humbling and it's been such a great experience.
We're just so thankful for this opportunity, and the stars aligned, and God's answered all my prayers as a kid. All I wanted was just to play for Oregon, and I couldn't have dreamed of or even fathomed playing in a Rose Bowl, let alone winning the Rose Bowl, scoring a touchdown in a Rose Bowl, and seeing Justin score 3 touchdowns it's amazing. I mean, just 2 kids from the state of Oregon, just going out there having fun and playing football, and I made sure to take it all in.
Breeze will be back. Herbert will move on. Oregon, a team filled with so many players from so many different parts of this country. Mario Cristobal calls it a national brand. But in a Rose Bowl, their first Rose Bowl win since 2015, it's the Oregon guys getting it done for the Ducks. In Pasadena, Brandon Cameraman, back to you.
Football and Oregon men hoops conference play starts at Colorado Thursday evening. Shakur Houston back in the lineup for the Ducks, and he makes his presence known. Jams at home for the Slam. The Buffaloes still lead, though, 24-19. Nafali Dante, playing in his first career Pac-12 game, grabs the offensive board, bodies inside, and finishes with the lay-in. The Ducks trail by 6, and they would struggle to close that deficit. Shane Gatling gets the lob to Tyler Bay, and what a beauty. Colorado up 15, and they would win it 74-65, the final. Oregon State also starting Pac-12 play at Utah. The Beavs get out to an early lead. Tinkle netting 7 of the Beavs' first 13 points. That floater makes it 13-7 in favor of the Beavs. The Utes, though, will pull away in the second half. Rylan Jones with a deep 3-point jumper and make it 48-40 Utes. And then Both Gatch gives the final punch, blows by the Beavs, and a ridiculous finish. So the Beavs fall 81-69. That's it for sports. Back to you.
Coming up next on NBC 16 News at 11, some people brought in the new year just watching fireworks, and others decided to take the polar plunge.
Some things just can't last forever, like the final days of the Built for the
Hundreds of people began their new year with a cold dip. The 7th annual Polar Bear Plunge took place in Walton County, Florida, Wednesday. As you see from this video, a large crowd showed up. Some people dressed up for the big plunge. The South Walton Fire District hosted the event. The money raised there goes to fund the district's free CPR classes. The fun was not over after the morning swim, though, because participants hit a local oyster bar for a post-plunge party. Wow.
I don't think that's fair. That's Florida. That's not the polar, so that water's like bath water.
That is not amusing to me. I don't want to go. I'm cold in this studio. You want me to jump in the water? Absolutely not. Thank you for watching.
Prescription comes to $72.20.
That's larceny.
I